I am excited to introduce our next group of speakers who are going to be talking about where product management is headed next. And this is going to be a bit of a panel style, a little bit more conversational than some of the conversations that we've seen so far. And this is going to be moderated by, again, Pendo's very own SVP of New Products, Tatiana Mamet, and featuring Eric Iwashita, who is a senior product manager here at Pendo, and Shiv Patel, who is responsible for growth product management at Productboard.
All right. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Yay. Have you guys had a great day? Great day? All right. So we're wrapping it up, bringing it home. I'm going to talk. I'm just going to move away because I have a few slides and then I'll move back. So we're going to be talking about the future of product management, and TLDR. We're going to be talking a lot about what product-led means and why this is becoming such a big buzzword right now. So, click. There we go. So the product we work with products. Well, Product School put out a Future of Product Management report, which you can't see right now, but there we go. So some of the interesting things that we've learned in this report, and it's a survey of product managers, is that product managers are taking on more and more responsibilities. Product managers are becoming really the central driving force for how organizations think about the future of their business overall. Not just the future, not just how they think about their product, not just how they think about how technology, right, is put together in order to create offerings for customers, but really product managers are taking on things like digital transformation initiatives, right, across the company. So major initiatives, major moves that businesses are taking. Now, often, product managers are being asked to take this on more and more. And we'll be talking a little bit about product-led things like product-led marketing, product-led sales, product-led HR, right? That's happening. And so this is what we're seeing a lot around product managers taking on more and more. There we go. And then product-led growth. This is a huge, huge topic in the world today. B2B, B2C, everyone, investors want to know, how are you driving product-led growth, right? And so product managers and product leaders are at the forefront of answering that question and needing to have a point of view. So here you'll see that, of companies, right, that have been surveyed, right, less than 25%, right, admit to being sales and marketing led, and the vast, vast majority are saying, that they are really making strides and really pushing toward becoming product-led, right? This is really where product managers need to start really understanding what this means, where this is going, and how do they develop the skills, the capabilities, and the mindsets to really be the leaders in this product-led movement. So with that, we will start our conversation. I'm just going to go back if this works. That's fine. If it doesn't, that's cool. Okay, we'll just get together here and have a little fireside chat. There we go. So we've got, there we go, a little product circle here. Very nice, very sweet, very sweet. So I've got Shiv here from Productboard. He is in New York, recently moved from San Francisco, which breaks my heart, but that's okay.
Oh, New York, let's go. She's from New York.
Yeah, I moved to San Francisco. And then Eric from Pendo, who was also born in Silicon Valley and moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, because, it's awesome here. And so one of the things that...
Before we get started, I actually had a question for him.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you explain your shirt? Because it reminds me of like Squid Games. Like, what's the number? You got to tell me, dude.
So these are the...
You got to stand up and show you.
Yeah, so these are the anniversary jerseys that Pendo employees get on their 3rd anniversary. So the first anniversary is a soccer jersey. third anniversary is a baseball jersey, and then I think fifth anniversary is like a tracksuit, like a yes, yeah, exactly. It's the same color. We actually had a meme going around with like the Squid Game people with the pink jacket with the Pendo logo, like right on the face, which is interesting. But yeah.
Now that you have that information, we're going to get into the content.
It's very crucial, actually.
That was very important for you to know. So let's just jump into the heart of the matter around this issue around product-led, right? What does product-led mean to both of you? Can you give a definition? And why do you think this is becoming such a big issue for so many companies today? So you want to start, Shiv?
Yeah, I can start off. I think it's actually this exact slide you have. I was going to reference it. You can see historically, most companies have been sales and marketing led. Here, 23%, we're going to product led. It's just much more cost effective to be product led than just only being sales led and marketing led. And we've been doing this thing for a long time. It's not anything groundbreaking, right? Like sales teams 10 years ago were product led in a way. Before, we used to just give out contracts and make people sign up on a blind product that you saw on somebody else's screen. 10 years ago or so, they started doing proof of concepts. Try this thing out for 90 days. If you like it, continue and extend your contract. If not, we walk away. Like a couple of years ago, we also started doing free trials. Hey, rather than just looking at a product on my screen, go try this product out for 14 days or 30 days. Let the product do the talking itself. And now we have like freemium plays and things like that. So I don't think it's just like being just only product-led. Like sales is doing product-led stuff. Marketing is also doing product-led stuff, like having a demo of our entire platform on the website that somebody can go play around with without chatting with sales. And the product team is doing the same thing. So the way I define product-led is not just having a free product or a freemium product, but what can the product do to decrease the reliability on just sales and marketing to do their job? Marketing to get lead generation and sales to do outbound. How can our product help us generate more customers? Like one of the ways we do that at Productboard is like, let's say we want to share external roadmaps or our external portal. Our customers will share their roadmap with their customers. A percentage of those customers will probably click on something that takes them back into Productboard. We spent no dime on that, and our customer helped us get more customers. So I kind of like this perspective, and I think there needs to be a balance of both. I would hate for like Pendo or Productboard to only go product-led or only sales-led. We need to have both sides of the business balance each other out.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point that you made at the end. But I think, in short, to me, product-led means you have to have a winning product experience. Like the best product in the market is the one that's going to go viral, is the one that's going to attract the talent, is the one that's going to drive the most revenue or acquire the most customers. And that has to be done in a way that in the market of all of these products, right? It's the trend now to be product-led. It's the trend now to have a freemium offering, and everyone can try a little bit of this and try a little bit of that. But if you don't ultimately have the best winning product experience, like the actual user going through the workflows and getting the most value out of the product, then you're just not going to win in that market, right? So product-led has to be, to me, having the best winning product experience. Because in a market where everyone's competing, that's what has to win.
So Shiv, you said something which I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Which is sometimes you can be both product led and sales led. And at first, I think that's contradictory, right? Yeah. Because how can both lead, right? But is it really about one group of people leading, or is it really about a mindset shift that we need to take on in order to across the organization? So I've been hearing about leaders talk about product-led sales, product-led marketing, but also product-led HR, right? And so it feels like a bigger mindset shift in organizations as opposed to just sales and marketing versus kind of the product organization and who gets to lead in the organization.
Yeah, I'll address that in two ways. It certainly is a mindset, but before that, there's something that stuck out to me. I actually chatted with a guy in the audience. His name is Joe, and he comes from a very early team of around 4 or 5. And he was mentioning that we're so young that product-led doesn't actually apply to us. It's like, I want to speak with more customers. I want my sales team, success team, I as a PM, the CEO, to chat with every customer as much as possible. So let's throw people at the problem so we learn and chat with our customers until we get to a product market fit, and then we could try out product-led things. So I kind of really liked his perspective that he had over there. Thanks, buddy. And then I do agree. I think it's a mind shift changing thing, because you also mentioned earlier, and I really like this perspective that you said too, Tatiana, is like, why are we all here in a software company or any company? It's like we want to build a product that customers use, and our accounting team also wants people to use Productboard and Pendo more, and our HR team wants us to do that as well, because that's how we'll retain not just customers, but our employees. Like Eric, you had a good example I want you to share about the what you said about Apple and Tesla and all those things. You were saying, why do people stay at those companies?
Oh yeah, we were talking backstage, and like people want to be part of a winning company, right? Like they want to build a product that they're proud of, and that's what the company's reputation is built off of. That's how word spreads about whether it's opportunities for employees to join the company or customers to join the company. But that concept of having a winning product in the market that drives the business forward is not a new concept, right? Like, you don't survive in the world of consumer products if you don't have the best product, right? And so the same things apply. Like, as it becomes easier and easier to try these different products, and like there's such a wide breadth of them, you also have to deliver that same experience.
Yeah, that's great. And so if we think about, like, one of the things, again, that I've been, you said, Shiv, like, why do we exist, right? We exist, we all come to work at a company, and at the end of the day, what we're all doing in any function that we're in is serving a customer, right? So, like, the best thing to attract and retain employees, actually, the job of HR is made so much easier through a great product, right? If you have people coming to join your company because they love the product, wow, your recruiting becomes so much easier. If you have people who stay at your company because they love the product, your retention gets so much easier. Your compensation stays under control. Like, all of the functions that HR is responsible for are made so much easier with a great product. And so really every function should be product-led in its mindset, in what it cares about. The CHRO should be worried about the product, should be thinking about the product every single day, right? So how do they get access to understanding how the product is doing and also contributing to that conversation? And I think that's maybe the shift that's happening now, right? As opposed to, like, talking about free trials or freemium or or virality, right? Which are all aspects of being product-led. We're drawing a circle around this whole mindset shift that includes all of those, right? What are some of the tactics that you guys are taking on and your companies are taking on to become more product-led?
So I'm going to bring it back to, like, when we learned about all the different product philosophies in school, but the one quote that always stuck with me and has, like, seeded a lot of my philosophy about how we build product is it's a Ray and Charles Eames quote, which is the details are the design, right? So you can't build a great product, whether it's a physical product or a software product, if you're ignoring the details, because the details are what give your product personality. They're what add delight to the experience. They're what communicate the right things to the customers and the users. And so I think for me, the tactics are, like, you have to be so focused on the small details that are often the very first things to get cut, and if you're prioritizing, right, if you're stack ranking things. But those are the elements that people remember, and those are the elements that make your product unique and stand out in the market.
The question is, like, what are we working on that's like product-led growth type thing? Yeah. One of the things that we're doing at Productboard, it's a platform for product managers, but we realize we want to extend beyond that, because whether you build a roadmap on Productboard or Pendo, we as product managers don't need a roadmap for ourselves. Our EPD team knows what we're working on this quarter. We need it for our stakeholders. And so we want Productboard to be a platform for not just product teams, but for everybody. Like Tatiana said, you want your product to excel and you want your product to be good. And so what we're working on is, like, hey, why do we build these roadmaps? It's for our sales and success team to go pitch to customers and clients and retain them. And so we want to create, go beyond just like product managers, and how can people collaborate more? How can success team come in and say their customers Netflix and go check out all the feedback that Netflix has given and attach it to what features and when they're going to land? And for the sales team to come in and say, this is confidently what we're working on, and for them to have a hand in building out the product as well. So we are product-led for us. We have a product-led acquisition motion. Like, We, of course, have a free trial. We might explore freemiums. We have product-led expansions, and right now, that's kind of the thing that I'm working on at the moment. How can we get not just product managers to use and contribute to the product? How can we get sales success, who we work with anyways, but we do that outside of the platform? How can we do that in the platform?
If I could add on to that, yeah, I think one major shift that's happening maybe in the product management industry is that we're really starting to recognize that product and creating a good product is a team sport, right? Like, and you can't just rely on individual contributors. You have to bring in the right people. Like, we as product managers are super connectors, right? We're like looping in the right people from product marketing or the right CS folks. And that mindset around making it a team sport, right, is one way to get all of the other departments on board.
That's great. And Eric, you brought up the fact that, product managers need to do a lot more than just focus on like what features they're going to build. What are some of the skills that you think are emerging for product managers? What are some of the things that product managers maybe that have been kind of, like prioritizing, building roadmaps, working with engineering teams? What are some of the skills that they should be thinking about for the future?
Yeah, this is very topical. For me, whenever I'm talking to someone who's an aspiring PM or someone who's been in product for a really long time, it always comes back for me to the soft skills, particularly around leadership, right? Like, I think to be the agents of change that businesses are expecting product managers to be, you have to be comfortable taking bold action and standing up for what's right. And Frances Haugen set a great example for us this past month. And I think what we're realizing, especially in an industry where a lot of the new folks are relatively young, right? We're bringing in a lot of aspiring product managers from colleges. Colleges are creating programs to help support those people. But being a PM is very, very hard because it requires you to have the confidence and the bold action and the expertise about business to be able to stand behind your decisions and see what's right? Not be told what's right. And I think that it's very, very difficult to learn those skills and to practice them. And they're arguably the most important aspects of being a product leader.
Yeah, I have two myself. I think the first one is not being a generalist, like be really so obsessed about your domain, that's all you go in on. So I believe at an early company, you should be a generalist. I actually have another story. I met another girl here. Her name was Sarah. She also works for a very early company, and usually the founder is the PM who's also the HR person who also gets toilet paper for the bathroom. And her job as a product manager, she's also the CS person closing sales and doing these things. But eventually you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm only going to go on onboarding, and that's my thing at Productboard that I do. Somebody else only is going to focus on integration, somebody on roadmap, somebody on prioritization. So like, there's this quote that sometimes people say like, product managers are CEOs of your product, and I'm like, no, the CEO is the CEO, and I just care about like my piece of the product, and he or she cares about the entire like domain that we cross across. So I think specialization is one. Like, be so obsessed. Whenever I mentor like new PMs, I even say the companies that you should work for are the companies of products and services that you use or competitors that you use. If you don't care about finance and accounting and you're going to go work at a finance accounting firm, you're not just going to empathize with your customers. Like, if you order 50 Ubers a day, go work for Uber or go work for Lyft because you're going to empathize with your customers. So I was like, specialize and just be crazy obsessed. And then the second thing is like following your intuition a bit. Like, you, of course, will have some data analysts that will work on your analytics side, and you'll have designers and researchers who will work on the qual side. But at a certain end of the day, like, try to predict like where you want the vision and the strategy of your product to go like a year or two in advance. Don't just worry about the next quarter. I'm actually going to pass it off to you, to Tatiana, to share that example you said about the hockey puck, because it really resonated with me. So you got to hear this one out.
So, So one of the things around acceleration and digital acceleration and change happening so quickly is that, one of the key skills for aspiring product leaders is judgment. And by judgment, I mean not necessarily intuition, which is kind of like opinion, I think. And a lot of times people say my intuition, but they actually mean my opinion. But it's the ability to actually know not where the hockey puck is now, right, and skate to that place, but where it's going. And it's the ability to see cultural trends, social trends, economic trends, and customer needs and requirements, synthesize those things together, and then skate to where the puck is going. Because the difference between sales and product management is that salespeople listen to where the puck is now, right? This is what I need to close the deal today, right? Product managers, our jobs are to figure out what is the world gonna want 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 18 months from now, when our vision is actually gonna be able to be built, right? Because it takes time for us to do that. So we need to figure out how to get to this way of laddering up, right? What we're seeing, what our customers are saying, what their needs are. Their needs are not just their needs, they're actually based on habits, behaviors, beliefs, and mental models, and understanding where those are so that we can develop this judgment. And that judgment is not just, again, opinion and confidence. It is a real vision for, I know why the puck is going in this direction, I know why the world is going in this direction, and I know what kind of product is going to meet the world, right, at the right time. And like that's the thing that really, I think, separates product managers from product leaders.
This is gold, by the way. You heard it here first from Tatiana. I feel like this is going to be a meme. If we're recording this, let's make this thing viral. You're not going to where the puck is, but where it's going. I like that.
Well, it takes time to build things, right? So if you're building only what you're hearing today, right? So those skills, right? And that's where we get to also, I want to ask about digital transformation. Why do you think one of the things that we're seeing, again, more and more and more, is that where the puck is going is for companies to invest more and more in this digital workplace, right? And adapt to new ways of working. So one of the companies that, I invested in and advise is Brain Trust, which is a freelancer marketplace built on a cryptocurrency. And a bunch of the designers actually that built Adopt came from Brain Trust. And so, that's, a new way, right, to digitally transform the talent marketplace, digitally transform how our companies work. And so what I want to ask you guys is, why do you think product managers are being asked, right, to help CEOs and CIOs really lead this digital transformation? What do product managers have that other people don't have that help to actually lead, like, business transformation?
Yeah, I think for me, it's about product managers are problem solvers first, and they're the CEOs of the problems, right, that they're faced with. And so I think when you're a really skilled problem solver, able to synthesize a lot of different inputs, whether they're coming from internally or externally, the market, or what your predictions are for the future, that the ability to synthesize all of that data and then communicate a very clear plan is unique to a product manager, right? It's because it's both the processing of information and empathizing, but it's also the actual soft skills and leadership skills of being able to communicate and inspire, right, towards that plan. And I think that product managers or product people are unique in that way, in that they have both sides, right? They understand the problems, but they can speak to them and inspire around them.
That's so interesting, because product managers are used to getting all this information, all these inputs from all these people, and then figuring out the path forward, right? Yeah. What do you think, Shiv?
I was going to mention something about digital transformation. I'm not so worried about Pendos and product boards of the world's doing digital transformation. I feel like all of our CFOs are basically giving money to each other. Pendo buys product board buys Salesforce, Salesforce buys Jira, and then it's a giant loop. But I think digital transformation is happening to those traditional companies that we didn't think that they would do things like this. What's really awesome is at Product Board, we have these two customers that I absolutely love. One is Rolls-Royce and one is Sherwin-Williams. They are using Product Board. That's impressive that their PMs are thinking about how to build product experiences, that they're using platforms like this. We would think of those companies as hardware companies or just builds paints. What do they need PMs for? So I will second what you said, is the balance of solving not just business problems, which is a skill that a product manager has. And the other one is balancing out good user experiences for their users. And that's kind of what I see when I try to collaborate with these two audiences. Sherwin-Williams PMs are thinking about okay, not everybody has to go buy paint. How can we build a product that they can check out, take a picture of their room, and it'll show them every color of every paint and every I just think that's crazy impressive. That to me is digital transformation.
If I could, sorry, also jump in. Yeah, I think product people, product managers, product leaders, are also the only ones whose job it is to reconcile the business needs with the user needs, right? And translate that back and forth. And again, Frances Haugen talked about how difficult that job is, and especially in her case, like where the stakes are really, really high, right? Some of us are lucky to work at places where the stakes aren't that high, and the decisions to be made are not so don't have such great consequences. But there's no one else, maybe besides like the CEO, that has to play arbiter between the needs of the users and the needs of the product, and then also
and
the needs of the
society
businesses. Yeah.
in that case, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
society, right? Democracy, right?
Those
The
are
needs
high
of democracy.
stakes. Yeah, really.
Not
high
just
stakes.
users, like actual democracy. So that's really interesting because you bring up courage as another thing that product managers need. I think Shiv, you and I were talking about some courage for product managers.
Tatiana and I were just chatting that I think it's very healthy to debate. I have healthy debates with my CEO and my VPs, and we come to I come to the table with customer feedback, the voice of the customer. I'm a true believer in we shouldn't just listen to the highest paid person in the room or the loudest paid person in the room or the loudest title in the room. But I always do believe that at the end of each one of those conversations, one audience should walk away with disagreement and commitment. So like have disagreements, but walk away any of those with disagrees and commits. And I usually come with a lot of customer feedback. So when we said why the PM is in charge of digital transformation, like our sales and our success team and our support team probably listen to our customers the most. But if they just build out the product, we would just build everything that a customer asks us to the value. It's where we go into the puck itself. But as a product manager, like I am not just saying, okay, this is the ask that we needed. Cool, I'm gonna understand the friction, but here's what I really think that they're wanting to be do, rather than what they're giving to me at face value. So maybe I'm just derailing right now, but
okay.
But me and my VPs, like we have very healthy debates where we bring the voice of the customer in the room, competitors, the landscape, and where our vision is going, but not just top down, like bottom up as well.
Yeah, and I want to get back to something that you guys brought up, which is that more and more product managers are coming into power into non-digital native companies, right? So show of hands, how many of you guys are from native digital companies, like software companies, tech companies? Almost everyone. Well, everyone. How about those of you who are in a tech role, but in a non-digital native company, a company that's undergoing a digital transformation? Yeah, so those challenges, in terms of transforming a company, right, are really, really interesting. And so do you guys have, from your perspective, right, in product companies, right, working with product managers, a lot of product managers from companies that are transforming and not digital native or not, traditional technology companies, what are some of the things that we see emerging in terms of how those roles are evolving?
Process. I think it's new, it's novel,
right.
And a lot of these companies like REI, for example, right? REI, they sold their headquarters and are having to modernize a lot of their digital offerings and shifting a lot of their focus towards investing in the community and building the community and investing in products that enable the community to connect wherever they're going. And I think like that's totally brand new to a company that sells outdoor equipment and camping stuff, right? But they often don't really understand how to actually make that shift, right? So they're turning to a lot of folks at native software companies or trying to find partners who have successfully helped aid that transformation. I think they're looking to experienced product managers and experienced product leaders to help drive that change, right? To the point of these are the change agents that they're bringing in. I'm
going to run with REI as well because it's a good topic. I think for whether you work in tech or non-tech, I think the workflow is essentially the same. It's just that we've just been doing it so long in software. But let's take REI as an example. Some product manager or somebody at REI is saying one of our jobs to be done is to connect all of our community. And they probably heard from their audience, I'm new to rock climbing and I'm going to purchase something at REI, but I don't know who to go with or something along the lines of that. They're doing the same workflow, listening to their customers, creating a vision of where they want this thing to go to build a community marketplace so people who just got into rock climbing, bought some things at REI can connect with each other and then go outside of New York and go rock climb together. So that's the same thing you and I do, right? When we're working on roadmaps or something, we're listening to our customers. They want a timeline-based roadmap or a column-based roadmap, and we're going to build this thing out for them. So we probably just do it on a much faster rate at a very tech company than before. And I've kind of seen that firsthand. My first job was working at Motorola and Caterpillar, the big giant yellow machinery, and I was in their product lifecycle, and it takes about 7 years for something to come to life. And by the time it comes to life, that technology is already old. So I think we just work faster, but the workflow is the same.
Yeah. So I think it's a couple of things there in terms of pulling out some themes. The acceleration of how we need to respond to customer needs, right, means that product managers, right, that bring in all of these soft skills, listening to people, listening to different stakeholders, making judgment calls, and then building those, building against those decisions, right, that's needed everywhere, right? And as we think about product-led, this mindset shift that's happening across organizations, right, of taking this approach of listening to customers, doing what they want, building the products they want so that the growth can more organically happen, right, from a pull as opposed to a push, right? That's a really critical sort of turning point. And it's always been, I think we've also said, it's always been there, right? We're just wrapping some language around it so that we can move faster toward it, whether we're a tech company or non-traditional tech company. I think everything's a tech company these days, right? That we're actually bringing these skills into fruition. So thank you, Eric and Shiv. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. Hope you had a great day of content. Stay for the entertainment. Please sign up for karaoke. Pick your karaoke song now. And you do not have to be a good singer. In fact, you just have to be an enthusiastic singer. And those are the best singers in karaoke, are they not?
What are you going to select as your song?
Is that a challenge, Shiv?
I will go.
What are you? You're going to do it?
I'm going to do Chandeliers by Sia.
Ooh. I'm going to go old school and go flash dance.
All right, cool. We'll see you at the stage, everyone.
We'll see
Thanks for
you
coming.
at karaoke. Shiv and I will have a dance-off.